Esther.
I'm Nick.
And we are Fouch Family Off-Grid. It's been a little while since we've sat down to say hello in a way that is pretty informal, to give you kind of the
Hello.
the peel back the curtain kind of feel of what's going on here. We're kind of in this I told you so phase of off-grid homesteading. We have this cute house and things are going well. We're killing the year 2018, just as I said we would. But like I said, we wanted to pull back the curtain a little bit because it's not actually any easier or different really than it was before we had sighting. And we wanted to just share some of those details with you. Often we do these talks at the beginning of the week so we can show you what we did last week and then what we are doing next week. But we didn't do that. Our kids are on a 4-day weekend and I had a migraine headache this week. So everything's a little bit behind. It's the weekend now, but we're going to sit down and talk to you about it anyway.
I think we'd have trouble making the next week's list anyhow. In a way, we've reached a point in some projects and just in the change of seasons where there is, there's a mountain of things that we could choose from. And so that's part of what is slowing us down is, I guess some call it analysis paralysis. Good word, huh?
Yeah. And we've talked about it before.
Right. So there's just a lot to sort through, and but the lists we have made, we've killed them.
Yeah. I think it's not just a thing about homesteading. I think it's a thing about a DIY life, or a life where you're trying to take more responsibility for your environment and how you're building your own life, how you're building your own survival. That idea of analysis paralysis just comes from the kind of the vastness, the hugeness of the problem. If you're trying to solve your life, if you're trying to solve the world, if you're trying to approach these kind of major things. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and just part of what makes the consumer lifestyle so appealing is that it can be easy because there's only a certain number of choices laid out for you. You just got to go to the store and pick the brand that speaks to you and take it home with you, and then that's that. When you're sort of, I don't know, we're not starting from scratch exactly, but
Right.
we're making we're making decisions about every aspect as it comes in front of us, and that can be just plain tiring.
And it also lately has felt very expansive, Nick came to this lifestyle with some pretty significant skills in terms of being able to understand materials and construction and draw in AutoCAD. But that's really just a sliver of the whole experience of building your own life and your own homestead. When you're also responsible for, what I'm working with today is really forestry. I've been out pruning and trying to understand the best ways to prune all the different kinds of trees. I'm thinking, gosh, this is just one of so many subjects that we are responsible for, at least to a certain extent, building our homestead. The whole aspect of small engines, and the whole aspect of electricity, and the whole aspect of concrete and wood, and then also the kitchen, and also sewing and all the different things.
And just even getting your head wrapped around natural systems, which you're trying to harness in some way or at least benefit from. So it seems never ending.
And we wanted to bring that right to you today. We thought, let's not cover it up. Let's not lie about it. Let's tell the truth. Part of it is that the thaw came early. We didn't expect the snow to disappear quite so fast. And let me be clear, it's not spring here in any way.
We're supposed to get snow tomorrow.
We're supposed to get snow tomorrow. There you go.
But almost all of our snow is gone, and it's clearer than it has been in previous years, and certainly different than last year. When last year at this point we were still buried in it. So we just got a preview of the busiest time of year.
It's hard not to panic. We said we
No,
were going to come up here and
you're-
tell the truth. It's hard not to panic.
Sure. Yeah.
And yet at the same time, we have so much success and so much joy right now. Our kids are super healthy and happy. They're on a 4-day weekend this weekend for the school's reasons, not for ours. And it's so fun to realize that we can just let them loose. I mean, we haven't seen them all day. Have you seen them?
Oh, I've checked in.
Right.
But they're off doing stuff and, I don't know, entertaining themselves for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great. And we're having dinner together every night, and the cellar's starting to fill up again. We just did beef stew last night.
And another round of broth because we had roasted a chicken. So.
Yeah. So we're keeping that going. We're having a lot of quality family time. And I guess at some point you have these successes where you're saying, wow, we're really doing well. Some part of me wants this to be done, like graduation or something.
Right, but that's that consumer culture where you're done when you have it. But if you're trying to build a whole life, then you're not done until I guess you've lived it or until you die. So we're not dead, so we got to keep going, I guess.
So that's kind of the big picture. But do you think that we could share with them some details so that people can hear what our projects are, the actual projects that we're talking about?
You mean get back to the lists?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
We often sit down here and kind of share what's next for us. I think that's been our routine.
Sure. You want to recap what we did? We have 2 weeks worth of lists.
Yeah, let's just recap.
Okay. A week before this one that we're wrapping up, the list had on it the floor in the mudroom and the siding. Yes? And we did those. So,
And they were both really satisfying projects.
absolutely. I mean, one was kind of big and messy, pouring the floor. We had to work from the inside of the house because it was pretty cold outside and no good for the concrete. And then it actually warmed up just a little bit immediately after that, enough to where it was pretty comfortable to be working on the outside of the house, doing trim and siding and making all of that attractive. So we've covered up all the house wrap on the front side of the house.
There's still house wrap on the back.
But you've probably never seen the back side of the house.
I throw it up every once in a while in a vlog, just to remind you.
Right.
The chicken side of the house is not, there's no
Yeah,
siding on that
it's
side.
still boneyard and it's still house wrap and head scratching as far as what's going to happen back there.
Although, if you get to the next week's list, he cleared a nice little spot back there.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the next, on this week's list that we're still working on, we did insulation in the mudroom, working slowly on insulation in the ceiling of the mudroom, and then actually making some sawdust on doors for the mudroom. The plan is to do a set of matching doors for our 2 different front doors, but we'll see what the material pile provides. Where it is unclear whether we're going to get a second door out of it.
And it turned out that all that material, the slabs of fir and pine from our own trees that were previously milled, that material was dry. We brought it into the house, and I think I said that we needed to let it sit and dry for a while, but you tested it with the moisture meter.
Yeah, and it was reading around 7%, which is really dry. So there's no issues there. I like that we brought it in and let it warm up and see if it was going to move dramatically on us, but it's really pretty stable. The problem with that wood is that, and the reason why it's in slabs instead of some great big beam that's part of our mudroom, is that it has a pitch seam in it, just a natural place where the fibers of the tree had separated. Usually it's from moving or from being a leaner of some kind. And so there's places where those slabs are wanting to split completely apart, beyond just what it would do from air drying. So I have a lot to work around. So it's unclear sort of how many pieces I'll get out of those slabs.
But it really is going to be an art project. He's combining the fur with the pitch seam that he's describing is combined with what's left of the same tree that did the ceiling.
The ceiling that's behind us and the treads on the spiral staircase.
So I think it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And is that all of this week's list?
Well, we had our stew on the list. And you talked about that already, and I don't remember.
Yeah, there's no gardening on the list, but gardening kind of popped up into our attention when the thaw came. I'm able to walk around outside without the snow. I'm able to get around and I'm able to see the lay of the land. So that definitely inspired me to get out there, fix up our gardening lists so I kind of know what the projects are. And then I had a migraine, and possibly those things are related.
Could be. One thing that we're able to see with the snow disappearing is how well all of Esther's terracing and berms are doing. So it's really cool to look out there and see these nice straight, contour lines across the landscape, and see that the berm is holding water in, and it's going to be good.
And the cover crops too. We put in a lot of clover pretty late last summer and fall, and a lot of it is doing fine. So that's fun to see. Those are the greenest places on the property.
Yeah.
Are the places where we got clover in the ground. So that is cool. The dirt work that's not working is the rain garden overflow. So we built a rain garden right in front of the house, and a lot of people said, "Oh, give us details about that. I want to know exactly how you did that." And we kind of went, "Oh, it's not really done."
Right. Well, and it's good to see the result in the thaw, because that's the highest volume of water. So I think we were waiting for the review until we saw some major water running through there.
The bad news is that they overflow. The good news is that we can really see how and where they overflow, and we have a plan for what to do. So this is a new project that we're trying to get done in the month of March or maybe early April. We're going to dig out and put a water line, maybe not culvert, maybe just...
something that serves the purpose of a culvert, to direct it under pathways rather than over the top. And I think where not that we went wrong necessarily, but it was just a volume problem.
That's right.
Which is very cool. It's a great problem to have because we got a ton of water.
Yeah.
Right? And so we just have to get it going in the right place. And your basins are collecting water beautifully. Mm-hmm. But we just have more than they will hold, and we need a good way to send them to the next place to be used.
So the gardening projects on deck are starting seeds in in our windowsill and in the mudroom, which can't happen until the mudroom has doors and possibly some shelves. I mean, we'd start them right on the ground. That's one. Two is that we are building, not building from scratch, but setting up a greenhouse in another location to be able to be full volume for really getting a lot of plants going. The greenhouse, however, is waiting on some chicken moves. So it's like, what kind of game is this? Like chess? You have to go back to see what back to all the moves before.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We can clearly see where we want to be, and then we have to play backwards in order to figure out all the steps. And there's a number of them. Part of that chicken move is designing and building 2 more movable chicken tractors, and they will go on deep beds way down at the bottom of the property, rather than right close to us where we have some chickens now. These are for layers, so we need access for eggs. We need to be able to get in and out of them easily, and they need to be lightweight but hold up to weather, wind, and whatnot. So that's a new project, and it's just in the design phase.
It's in the design phase, but it's kind of high on the priority list. So I'm guessing that'll pop out pretty quickly.
As soon as we have a front door.
Right? And so that was part 2 of the gardening. And then the third thing that we already said is the culvert. We probably won't really use culvert, but we'll show you when we do it. The below ground water drainage from the rain garden. And that needs to happen before April 1st because we have a bunch of plants coming. We have 125 trees coming, plus at least 25 bushes. And that's not just for the rain garden, but some of those do need to go in the rain garden. So at that point, I have got to be all set and ready to go. And I'm excited because I've been wanting to get to this stage where I can really do some at-scale gardening. We've succeeded in little tiny plots, and I'm ready to really scale up to our whole property, or to a more significant portion of our property. But you can also see why I feel a little shaky this week as far as like, okay, we're going to do it.
Right.
We're going to get there.
I mean, that's part of what we're dealing with now, is that we can see that we could do a lot here. You know, a lot could, this could be a very productive piece of land. And we can work hard as well, but you can't work harder than your designs, I guess. Mm-hmm. So you have to design ahead of yourself and know what you're doing before you put all that effort out there, or it's not going to go well. Mm-hmm. So we're just we're trying to stay ahead of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And the hardest part of that, just to bring us back to the beginning, the hardest part of that so often is just having courage, and the courage to stay motivated when you when you're facing something kind of giant. You need to have the motivation to take the one step right in front of you and kind of zero in on what is next, and yet also being motivated by that big picture. And it's, I guess we wanted to, like I said, pull back the curtain a little bit and let you know that even on the really awesome days, it's not like we're coasting.
No.
Not coasting.
Not yet. Maybe not ever. I don't know.
Yeah. So wherever you are today, if you are taking tiny steps or huge steps or having tremendous success, we just wanted to hang out with you and say, you know, this is what it's like for us, and we do really get to see results. And we are, in a way, still in that I told you so phase of off-grid homesteading, because so many things are happening. In a way, it's almost scarier to see there's nothing impossible about it. It's perfectly possible. And we're taking the steps to make it happen, and we're happy to share them with you.
Yep. Thanks for coming along with us.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.